Hello, Fullerton College, and welcome back to Culture Shock, the show where talent comes in many forms. Today's talent is painting. We are here with Christian W., a painter from Chino Hills, California. Christian, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
Good, good. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, so go ahead and tell me, what caused you to get into art?
Well, I've always been into art in the sense I used to write and poetry and stories and things like that, but painting, I don't really have a long story for. It's more so I just fell in a funk and I just randomly went out and bought painting supplies at Michael's, and I just felt like I had an image in my head I wanted to convey, and then that's how I kind of got going.
All right, well, is art actually your major?
No, it's not. My major is psychology.
Interesting. So why did you choose psychology and not art?
My overarching meaning, I feel, in life is to help people. I just want to help people become who they're meant to be, and I feel like I can do that through paintings, through writings, but it would be a lot more difficult to make an impact, and I just feel like going to school and becoming kind of like a clinical therapist, I'd have a lot more chance of helping somebody.
Okay, and do you think that you can use your art to kind of relate to your psychology in a way?
Yes, I believe that fully. I think especially my approach to a lot of the paintings I do is I don't have a plan going into it. I just paint how I feel, and I just do random brush strokes, and then if it looks like something, I'll go with it. And I feel like that's a way for my subconscious feelings to shine through and to paint how I feel.
Now, in a sense, could you consider psychology a form of art?
I think one could make that assumption. Yeah, I think because with psychology, it is science-based, but there's a lot more room for self-approach, for self-processing and self-diagnoses, and just it's more so how you feel, which in a lot of like the psychoanalytic approach, there's not a lot of really objective testing you can do, so it is individually based, much like art expression is.
Okay, and how would you say culture and art is important to you? Like, how do they relate to you?
Culture and art's important to me in the sense that I feel like art and culture in a way is just self-expression. Art is how you feel, and it comes from a genuine place, and it conveys emotion, whereas culture is more so the same thing, but on a cultural level. I mean, not cultural level, it's more conglomerated. It's how culture is how a large group of people identify. It's not as individualistic, but it's still, I think it's the same thing.
Okay, so it's definitely interesting, you know, getting a perspective of how art can relate. And it's super inspiring to think of the different ways that arts actually help people.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually do understand that you're going to be showing us some pieces. And we're going to get to that along with more questions after the commercial break. So Hornets, don't go away. We'll be right back. And we are back. Welcome back, everyone. Christian, again, it's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, so you did bring in some pieces for us to look at. Let's go ahead and bring one of them out. Now, go ahead and tell us what your inspiration was for this piece in general.
Well, this is one of my more recent pieces. I don't have much emotional attachment to it, but it was more so me trying to actually better my painting skills. I used different tactics. I sponge painted the background to give it that blotchy look. And then I used a slab tactic, which is you kind of smear it like a knife across butter to give it that wispy look to it. And then I just used regular brush strokes to get the shape of it. And I think it's more so, it kind of looks like wind to me, but then it also looks like something you would hang in a Starbucks, so.
Okay. Is there actually a name for this?
There's not as of yet, but I guess you can call it wind, Starbucks wind.
All right, and does this relate to you on some kind of level?
This one doesn't have a relation to me, but some of my other pieces do.
Okay. Well, we do have another piece to look at. I'll go ahead and bring that out. So go ahead and start off with the name of this one.
This one is entitled Explosion in the Sky. It was, it's also the title of the song that I was listening to as I painted it. And this was the first painting I ever did. This was the image that I had in my head when I went and bought all of the painting supplies. And it was like I was explaining to you that this I had no plan going into. It just kind of formulated as I was painting it. And this one I feel has a lot of emotional attachment to me because in a way it explains exactly how I feel. There's a beauty to it, which is in a light positivity. Then there's also a darkness taking over it, which is just the human condition of depression, sadness, just things that people feel on a day-to-day basis.
So in a sense, you had some psychological inspiration
Yes,
for this one, huh?
Yes, a lot.
All right. So what kind of advice do you have for people trying to get into art?
Do what you feel and be genuine. As long as you do those two things and stay true to yourself, I feel like there's no right or wrong way to do it. Don't get caught up in what people think. Don't get caught up in anybody else that's doing things better than you or doing things differently than you. Just focus on you and be as genuine as you can with what you do.
And would you say that art is kind of just undervalued in society?
I would say more so now, yes, especially the more pop aspects of art. It's more so, I don't find it genuine. I don't find it to be an individual expressing exactly how they feel. I think they more so cater to what people want to see and not so much what they feel in themselves.
Okay, and if you could expand your artistry, what kind of styles would you be trying to go into?
If I wasn't so bad at physically actually drawing things, I would love to do realism, but so I think I would expand my talents on that. But I also want to get into other facets of art, such as music, writing, writing books, and just kind of a way to get everything that I feel out into the open for people to see and enjoy and hopefully relate to.
Okay. So in a sense, I really like what you've been saying so far. You know, you talked about how, you know, you didn't really have a real drive for art, but rather you just kind of went in and tried it and you ended up liking it, which is actually a really good thing because you never know what you enjoy doing unless you take the risk and start. So even though you might not know what you're doing at first, you come up with something. And in the end, that something, even though it wasn't exactly planned, is very satisfying. Christian, thank you so much for sharing your pieces with us and answering all my questions. Hornets, thank you so much for watching Culture Shock. Have a great day.